Everybody's content? Certainly looks like it. Huh? Yes, yes. Very, very clear Murli today. Right? Very, very clear Murli. And we're passing through times. This is Ravan's kingdom. In Ravan's kingdom, nothing goes in a straight line. Ravan's kingdom is pickle. Everything confused, entangled. Nothing is straight in Ravan's kingdom. So we cannot expect anything from anyone, from any situation. Now, I remember one time somebody asked Daddy Janki the question, how can I trust this person? It was a BK. How can I trust this person if they're lying to me? And Daddy gave a very beautiful answer. She says, you can't trust a person's sanskars and nature, because the sanskars and nature is changing all the time. Today is one thing, tomorrow something else. But what you can trust is how Baba wants to use that soul, especially in the Brahmin family. Baba has handpicked every single diamond. And there is a reason why Baba has handpicked that soul. And that you can trust. That's why it's so important to keep Baba in between, because then you will feel Baba is enabling things to, Baba is using this soul for something. And that trust in Baba is like a gift for souls, actually. Because even souls themselves are under the influence of their old nature and sanskars. Now, I'm seeing like a fly on the wall. I had a recent tour of Japan and the Philippines and Korea, and I'm just seeing how Brahma Baba is working overtime, to complete the task of service. Baba is touching intellects and souls that are like miracles. In Japan, they brought together such a high-profile group of souls that they could have never reached before. There was the head of the World Bank Group, the vice president of Goldman Sachs, the chief economic advisor for the Ministry of Finance, and in a country like Japan where things are very conservative, to get the upper echelons of very conservative Japanese people to come is not easy to learn Raj Yoga. It's a Buddhist country. And yet, as we were going through different meditations, and I've started to introduce the concept of God, the source, as a source for change and transformation in our lives, they were starting to have experiences in that room. One of the souls said, when I brought that second soul into my mind, I felt so much joy and happiness. Is this what you experience when you connect with God? And then another one said, when I brought that soul into my mind, I experienced so much stability and safety. So I could feel like Baba is now actively penetrating the right souls, touching the right people so that he can finish this task, right? Now, what Baba needs from us is the support of our attitude and our vibrations. He needs a surrendered attitude. Some people often mistake surrender for a physical thing. It's not a physical thing. You can give something physically to the yajna. Like some people, they give money to the yajna. But then they want to know, where has the money been used? What has it been used for? Which means they haven't really surrendered it. They may have donated it, but they haven't surrendered and sacrificed ownership to it. Once it goes in the yajna, you have no connection with it. And if it comes back to you, it comes back to you because you're a trustee, right? So I'm just seeing across the different countries, how on the one side, at a country level, organizational level, challenges are increasing. But on the other side, Baba is continuing to give his honest children powerful experiences. In Madhuban, for example, there are many now institutional challenges. There's the BK leadership. They're getting older, but I'm so grateful they're still available. They're available to listen. They're available to make decisions. They're available. And, yes, we're having, as expansion continues, we're having to face defamation, criticism, as well as praise. You'll get both. You don't just get one. But then at the same time, of course, and there are institutional challenges when there's a lot of growth, right? Handling variety of sanskars and variety of relationships. And then there's, on this side, in every single campus, there are bhattis happening. Manmahini, Anand Sarovar, Mansarovar, Pandav Bhavan, Gyan Sarovar, even Peace Park. In the back of Peace Park, they've built this very simple accommodation for 40 people and a hall, and they call it Peace Palace. And so small groups of Madhuban Niwasis go there in nature, and they have 3 days bhatti. So I was doing the circuit in giving classes, but it was so beautiful to be in nature, to have an evening hour and a half of yoga in nature, to become bodiless. And I was seeing how Baba was refreshing all of his children. So this is the yajna. The yajna is a spirit. The yajna is a flame. The yajna is light. The yajna is fire. The yajna is zeal and enthusiasm. The yajna is joy, right? When we nurture and nourish this flame inside us, then imagine what our attitude does. When your attitude has no barriers or blockages inside, then everybody will be infected by the energy of the fire, right? Some people will come in your presence, they'll feel cleaned because the fire of that pure love, fire of pure joy, pure happiness is cleaning their bad omens. So for some, the fire will ignite their own flame. You know how one candle ignites the candle of another? Some souls will feel, an awakening. And so it's so important for us as Brahmins. We need a radical change of attitude now. Radical. We cannot sit there on our moral high thrones or anything of the past or what I know of your intelligence, whatever. No, the only seat we can take is I am a soul, I belong to Baba. Everyone is my brother. That's it. No seat of being senior or junior or this many years in Gyan or knowing this much or doing this much. No. To serve and bring souls close to Baba and to reveal Baba requires a very pure attitude. Very pure. So now every Brahmin soul has to deeply look at their attitude, because on the basis of your attitude, you create vibrations. Anywhere you stay, and some people, the atmosphere affects me. Actually, the atmosphere is not affecting you. It's what's in your attitude that's affecting you. So now in all of our centers, we really need to step up, strengthening the atmosphere, creating a very, very powerful atmosphere. That means no waste, no negativity, and deep Gyan and yoga together. So we step into an atmosphere where immediately we feel our purity supporting us. That's essential at this time. And so, Madhuban is the heart of the yajna. The main flame arises out of Madhuban. And it's continuous. It just keeps going. It's amazing. Baba just keeps giving to his children from everywhere. From those who come from up above, the high society, to those who come from the villages. Right? So it's what does Baba mean when he talks about the heart of the soul? There's we call it the chit. When Baba uses the word Sat Chit Anand, chit is the pure awareness of the soul. It's that very, very pure part. Imagine when you're a baby, there's nothing, you don't have any issues with anybody, right? No memories, nothing. You're just this bundle of joy. Your chit is pure. That's the heart of the soul. Yeah. So there's no self-consciousness. There's just a pure self-awareness. And then could you give us tips on identifying and overcoming attachments? I always find it funny when people are asking for tips, because a tip is the last thing you give after you've had a big meal, right? Or you've had a service. So, you can't just, it's not a tip. Releasing attachment is about a deep release of ownership. Now, let me give you an example of how deep this habit is. You're sitting there in that classroom, wherever you're sitting. You're sitting in this comfortable chair. Everyone's comfortable, right? Now, if I was to ask you to get up and go to the bathroom, you would go, you would take a little break. And then when you return, where would you come back to? You would come back to that specific seat, right? Why would you come back to that specific seat? When there are so many other chairs empty, you would come back to that specific seat because in your mind, by sitting here for 1 hour, it's become my seat. That's about as basic as attachments as it begins. The reality is you didn't buy the seat. You didn't make the seat. And yet, because you've been sitting on it for half an hour, it's become my seat. And then some are very clever. And they get up and they put their notebook and pen on the seat. Nobody should sit in my seat. Right? And then when they come back, and if somebody else is sitting on that seat, then what happens? You have the thought, who's sitting in my seat? That seat doesn't even belong to you. And yet you have this thought, who's sitting in my seat? So we live in this very, very deep illusion of making things mine that are not mine. We do that with our eyes. We can own something just by looking at something long enough. Right? We do that with service. Service is a cooperation. It's not fixed. It's a dance. And then there are some souls, no, this is my service. You shouldn't interfere in my service. Yes, let other souls cooperate. Let them use their specialities. It's Baba's service. So this deep habit of ownership, it's like a mental sickness. Why are there so many mental health problems? Because of the illness of attachment. We have made people and things mine that are not mine. And so at a very deep level, one has to accept this reality. that nothing is mine. Look at this body. Huh? It's beautiful body, good body. Okay? You also have beautiful body, good body. But look at the form of this body now. And then look at the form of the body when you leave. It becomes 2 kilos of ash. Even this doesn't go with you. So this body that you kept saying, my body, my body, my body, it does not go with you at death. Then what else in this world can you say is yours? Even a soul doesn't accompany you at death. You are alone, naked. So very deeply, is so important. This is like releasing yourself from a very deep sickness. It's not enough with just a tip. But Babas, this is Babas. Brahma Baba used to take a notebook and he used to write in the notebook, Jashoda is a soul. This is a soul. Narayan is a soul. Nirmal Shanta is a soul. He would write pages and pages so that he could rewire his brain, right? What's that therapy called? Cognitive behavioral therapy? Yeah? They're changing your cognitive wiring. So you have to do this with yourself. You have to take a notebook, and for every person in your life, their name, their soul. This is a soul. This is a soul. This is a soul. This is a soul. Until you feel a release in your brain. Because the my has been wired into your neurons. So this is a very deep subject. Oh, if a Brahmin soul defrauds another Brahmin soul and has been seen lying whenever possible, how can one know if that soul is truly a Brahmin or just passing through, and what should the coordinator do with that soul? Okay, so look, when we say, and Sakar Baba used to say this, when a net is being put out for the pigeons, then some crows also get trapped in the net. Or when you buy a crate of apples, there are always some bad apples. Okay? So to understand that every soul, they have their nature and sanskars, there will be some bad apples, bad behavior. It's very important that a Brahmin soul doesn't take the law into their own hands. To bring caution, to bring change, you must go to the Nimit soul, right? So the coordinator, the Nimit who is there. And then, yes, that Brahmin soul is maybe revealing themselves. I wouldn't say if they've recognized Baba, they are, but then they haven't had the strength to change their karma. So because they haven't had the strength to become pure and honest, the first expression of purity is honesty and accuracy, right? So what happens is you can recognize Baba, but if you don't start building your capacity of honesty and purity, then the ego starts using you. Yeah, you take knowledge from Baba, it's Baba's knowledge, then you position it as your knowledge, your opinions, your way of doing things. And then you want people to follow you, right? So the ego gets mixed in. So this just means that the soul at this point doesn't have the capacity to be honest with Baba. Now, of course, if what they're doing is affecting the gathering, then yes, the Nimit and the coordinator has to take action, right? And that action could be that for a short period of time, not to come to the center. For a short period of time, keep a distance until they realize something, right? Because sometimes, a virus enters the gathering, it can start creating, a lot of chaos. So this is, of course, case by case. But I think the benchmark of somebody being a Brahmin is their recognition of Baba. And no matter how kind of maybe untruthful they may be karmically in terms of their karma and dealings, because they are under the influence of their old nature and sanskars. So they're sitting in the jail of their old nature and sanskars. They've recognized Baba, but they don't have the power to come out of that jail and to follow Srimad. So I think what's very important is the mirror of Srimad has to be very clear for souls so that we don't start following Baba according to our manmat. And then we develop our own version of Raj Yoga. Right? Everybody, if they follow Baba according to their nature and sanskars, you're just developing a customized version of Raj Yoga. You're not really becoming an independent self-sovereign. So, yes, we have to handle these behaviors, but not with an attitude of blame, not with an attitude of aggression, not with we have to handle these behaviors mercifully. Like a mother, she knows the goodness of the child, and she knows what the child is doing is harming itself. So she can speak firmly and lovingly, but mercifully. And I think that's the challenge for many of us. Because, when we're faced with bad behavior or untruth, we're actually faced with our impurity. Because you will then realize how limited your attitude is or how unlimited your attitude is. And a pure attitude is always a merciful attitude. You want to bring benefit to someone. A pure attitude is a detached attitude. You don't take on someone's rubbish. A pure attitude is an accurate attitude. It's an honest attitude. It's very clean and clear. Whatever else needs to be said, says, and nothing more, nothing less. A pure attitude is very adjusting. It's flexible. A pure attitude is very peaceful. It's patient. So right now, at a very fundamental level, we are deeply being asked to reflect on the purity of our being, especially at the attitude and the drishti level, because these are the transformative factors, right? Through our attitude, the atmosphere is created. Through our drishti, a new srishti, a new world is created. We're manifesting things through our drishti. So big cleanup time. If you haven't cleaned up, you need to accelerate this cleanup time now. Daddy's slogan was always clean, clean, clear, clear. Clean, clean, clear, clear. Okay. Thank you. Nice to see Guatemala, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Venezuela, Dominican Republic. It's lovely to be with all of you.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you, sister. Thank you so much for taking us into the depth of Baba's Murli. And I was thinking, should I write or should I listen to it? There was so much like you gave us. I can't, But today we have Sister Sandra from Ecuador, and she's going to present a Baba's blessing from the whole family and from Baba.
Om Shanti. Dear Sister Gopi, this is blessing from Baba. It's for you.
Thank you.
You are a Shakti, you are a Baba Shakti. Excuse me. You are a Baba Shakti who frees yourself and others from obstacles through your powerful drishti create with a perfect combination of sweetness and the power of purity. Two ingredients that allow you to constantly move forward at a fast speed while eliminating any tail of questions.
Wow,
Thank you
what
so
an
much. I'm
accurate
Shanti.
blessing. Thank you so much. Somebody will send it to me on WhatsApp. Beautiful blessing. Thank you. And all of you are Baba's diamonds. Don't forget that. Every single Brahmin is a precious diamond. You are instruments to reflect Baba, Baba's light, Baba's love, Baba's mercy, so that all the souls around you can be served with a piece of Baba. So big hug to everyone. And I'm coming in August to Brazil. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go anywhere else, but we'll see, maybe in the future. Might come back your way. Okay, so let's finish with Baba's remembrance.
Om Shanti.